Hi, this is Barry Rosen. I wanted to introduce my workshop, Astro-Yoga, Human Psychology, Ayurvedic Astrology, and Yoga Asana Therapy here at the Boone Conference. Very exciting. I think people have had a strong connection and seen the strong connection between Ayurveda and Jyotish and Hatha Yoga, and certainly people like Dr. Lad have understood the importance of looking at somebody's pulse, at the same time looking at their chart and connection. As a Jyotishi of 26 years now, having been involved in Ayurveda since 1983, I've been very aware when doing people's charts of the Ayurvedic connections to the psychology and the impact on the physiology. Having studied with a wonderful man, Ed Tarabilda, I was able to understand the connections between yoga therapy and Hatha yoga poses and human psychology and organ therapies and helping with remedial measures for afflicted planets. Hatha, Hat means sun and Tha means moon in Sanskrit, so there's no doubt that there's a very deep connection in ancient times between Jyotish and Hatha Yoga. In working with people's charts over the year, I've developed different poses that help them move through different planetary afflictions. For example, it's very common for people to have a lot of fatigue, and usually the adrenals are involved, and most people just drink coffee. But if you do the yoga posture, the crane, it stimulates the adrenals and it gives you a big sense of courage and energy to move forward. It's very, very simple pose to do. It takes a few minutes. And that's an example of something that I would recommend if I saw a weak Mars in somebody's chart. The challenge is that when people have afflicted planets in their charts, they usually have trouble doing the poses they need to do, and in that case we have to kind of start getting them into the proper positions or approximations of the positions or alternate positions. So for example, the peacock, which is a very advanced pose in yoga, strengthens the sun, and so people with low self-esteem and low confidence can strengthen their self-esteem using that pose, but at the same time it's one of the hardest poses in yoga to do, and there's no way with somebody with a debilitated sun could even get into that pose. So part of the workshop is going to kind of give some guidelines for helping alternative poses and helping people into different postures. There's a deep connection between the psychology and human behavior and the different planetary energies, and certainly we're going to address some of this. For example, somebody with a weak Venus that's a good planet for them may have problems with reproduction or artistic creativity, and from Jyotish we might recommend that they take up singing, even though it might be a difficult thing for them to do. If it were a Virgo ascendant and Venus ruling the ninth house or something like that. But the simple lion pose prescribed strengthens the second chakra, the creativity and procreation source, can aid in their sexual problems and their creativity and their artistic temperament, and would be an example of a yoga therapy for helping somebody who was having problems with creativity, and if it's clear in their chart, that's something that's needed. So another part of the workshop is going to address what I call karka values. In other words, Venus, Mars governs courage and energy, and everybody needs courage and energy, even though Mars is not always a good planet for everybody. But strengthening certain poses that energize weak planets are going to be good for a lot of people. Whereas sometimes as a Jyotishi you have to look very carefully. You don't want to strengthen a bad planet. For example, a person with a weak sun may be too egocentric and a bad leader, and they need to do headstands to kind of get rid of that quality. And so sometimes you have to weaken planets that are too strong if those planets are poorly afflicted. So in a 2-hour workshop, we can only begin to address some of these issues and give some of the basics, and even people without Jyotish, a Jyotish background could benefit. We're going to come up with tables and personality conflicts, and we'll cover a lot of wonderful material. Look forward to seeing you at our workshop. Personal consultations will be available after the workshop for your own individual charts and additional cost. Those can be done over Skype, or they can be done after the conference if you're going to stick around. I will be sticking around myself. Look forward to seeing you. Barry Rosen, www.appliedvedicastrology.com. Have a great day.